CPS will write a document, information incorrect. Then I go through the trouble of pointing out where they're incorrect at and put names, numbers, references. And then it's like you get the next document from CPS and they do not turn around and correct their mistakes. They'll say it to you over and over again, and I'm like, that did not happen. Here's the person's name, here's the person's number, here's the person's fax number. This, you keep telling me, CPS, that things happen to me that's not even on that paper. I'm telling you that never happened. Here's names, numbers, and people that I know to verify that that did not occur. But what I don't like is the control. I feel like I'm a slave on a plantation and that they just reclaimed me. I am forever stuck in Seattle. I could never take my child to another state to move. They told me if I would have packed my bags and moved to a whole nother state, because that's what me and my husband wanted to do. We wanted to get the hell out of here. And we were told if we did that, they were going to put a warrant out for our arrest. I thought to myself, wow, this is slavery. And it's like horrible. I mean, I feel like a slave. And I wonder how many people in the world they make feel that way. I wonder how many people that they're forcing to take drugs. They want me to take drugs that are going to cause heart attacks, strokes, obesity. Hey, I'm fat enough. Why would I want to take a drug that's going to murder me sooner? I mean, these drugs are more dangerous than alcohol. These drugs are more dangerous than cigarettes. And they're like, well, we should just mellow out. Just mellow out your personality. And I'm thinking to myself, I've never met such stupid, dumb airheads in my life. I mean, these people are really like sociopaths. I think they got a problem because it's like, why can't you make corrections as things go on? Why do you have a need to keep switching person after person, after lawyer, after judge? You guys keep doing the switcheroo. Why don't you allow us to switch and leave us alone? I mean, I can see if I was like anybody in my family. I mean, I love my family dearly, don't get me wrong. But I've got pimps in my family. I've got prostitutes in my family. I've got people in my family that sell drugs. I've got people that rob people in my family. I've got people that carjack people in my family. Now, I could see if I was doing what they're doing, but hey, I'm not doing anything to anybody, and I just wanted to be left alone. You know, Christy Stewart at Swedish Hospital said I had no place for my child to live. My manager, Judy Carter, come into court to tell the court, well, if that's the case, why did she pay in advance for a 2-bedroom apartment for her and her daughter to move to? Why did she not only pay 2 months in advance and pay the deposit? You know, because it's like you're trying to tell CPS, and this is what this broad said. She told CPS I had no place for my daughter to move. Because she'd come to my room, she asked me, do you have a place for your daughter to move? I said, yeah, I got a 2-bedroom apartment that we're gonna go to. Then she writes on the report, she really doesn't have a place for her daughter to move. Then she goes on to talk about, she only has 1 pair of booties for my daughter. Well, the funny part is, in the CPS report, because they came into my apartment, they saw the boxes of clothes all the way up to the ceiling. They started counting, and they're just like, wow, she has 400 pieces of articles for her child, either boy or girl, to wear as far as clothes go. You know, it's like, hey, she's got 2 cribs, she's got this, she's got that. And it's like, which one is right? Which one is right? Which one is wrong? Because if this case happened December 2002, why is it that the CPS worker writes on a report, you know, within about 4 months, She comes in, she's looking at everything, 3 months, 4 months, she's looking, she's like, wow, you got a lot of stuff for your kids. The funny part was when I had my son, it was horrible because for one, a CPS worker come knocking on my door 10 days later, uninvited, and she wanted to see my son. Well, she looked at him and said he was gorgeous. But this was fantastic because for some reason, this is awesome. They had a black social worker came in. And she looked around and she saw everything that my son had. She saw 500 diapers in the hall, different sizes, so he could fit into. They saw his crib, they saw his bed, they saw, you know, everything he had, toys, wipes, you know, 10,000 wipes and, you know, 10 bottles and formula galore. Because I'm showing this woman all over the place and she's like, wow, you're well prepared. I said, yes, most definitely. And then I showed her my checkbook. I said, I saved over $1,000 for my son. That's, you know, because he's only 10 days old. He can't really use all the money, but I did save that much money for my son. I know that's not a lot, but it's the best of what I can do. She's like, you know, I think I'm going to go ahead and drop this case. She doesn't want to waste taxpayers' dollars. Her name is Juanita Vassar. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Because I told her the truth. I said, can you do anything about my daughter? And they're like, we can't do a thing about your daughter. She's in the weight division of CPS. So we can't do anything about that. But we were forced to stay here in 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006. Because they didn't leave us alone until February 2006 on a 6-month contract. Well, I tried with lawyers here in Seattle. I said, please help me. Please, just do a pro bono. Take your 30%, you know? And they're just like, no, 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 we can't do that. Nobody wants to go up against Swedish Hospital. Problem is, a lot of these lawyers are in cahoots with each other. And I can understand they're scamming the state because, for one, they refuse to speak up in court. You know, you sit up there and you whisper this in their ear and you want them to say it. And they don't. You know, they just kind of step back and they're thinking, oh, extra money, a vacation. I think I need my car payment. I got to, you know, get a nice a vacation out of this. So they don't really speak up. But at the same time, I can understand why the social workers for CPS do what they do. Because when they take your child from you and then they turn around and give you your child back, they get a bonus on their paycheck. So their paycheck doesn't just look like a regular paycheck. There's a bonus for each child that is returned back home. They get a nice, juicy, fat, little income here, which is like a bonus. So I don't blame them. I mean, give them back to the parents if the parents do what they want them to do. And this is the funny part. What they want us to do is that if you're working 40 hours a week on your regular job, they want you to take time out of your job to go see a psychologist, to go see a therapist, to go make an appointment here and there, which when you start adding it up, it takes about 5 to 6 hours per week. Well, let's see, if you do that per month, that is 24 hours that you're going to lose on your paycheck per month. And, you know, I don't think any American out there, any red-blooded American can afford to take 24 hours out of the month to do what CPS wants you to do with your time. Because if you start adding it up by year, it's going to be 300 hours. And you know how many paychecks that is? And you know, if you're trying to make it and you're struggling as a family, you're going to lose a bundle of money. So I think that's their way of keeping a person down. Because you cannot make it if someone is demanding that you do certain things with your time. Because you get zero compensation for it, zero. And at the same time, every program they send you to, they get a nice little credit on their paycheck. And that's why they're living the high life. Because if somebody went to one of those CPS workers and say, you work 40 hours a week, but we want you to take 6 hours a week to do this, then imagine how much money they would be losing out of their pockets. And I did talk to the judge, and I said, hey, I feel harassed. I've moved through